I am so passionate about every ingredient that went into Mamalicious. Every single ingredient that's in there is in there for a reason. The folic acid is in there to help your baby's neural tube and make sure that that baby has a complete neural tube and no spina bifida. Basically, this folic acid will also, it's a methyl donor, so it's also going to help you with epigenetics. Now, B6, B12 are also good for energy in mommy, keeping your energy up, and they're also acting on this epigenetic function as well, you know, as part of the methyl pathway, methyl making pathway. Synsulin is in there because it's been patented and shown, we have clinical trials to support that this supports mommy's healthy blood sugar level during pregnancy, which is so important to keep mommies from getting the gestational diabetes. And we have pre and probiotics. Cool thing about prebiotics are fiber. We have inulin. Now, prebiotics are actually one of the things that we eat in our diet that get made into important acetyl donors in our gut. So inside our body, this fiber is turned into butyrate, which is so cool. If you try to get butyrate in a synthetic form, it's actually not so good. But the butyrate that we make in our body is actually turns on our anti-cancer genes. This is what studies are showing. So eating fiber in your diet could, in fact, you know, help turn your anti-cancer genes on. How cool is that? This is just science. This is just molecular biology, really.
And the genistein was shown in mouse studies. Genistein is another compound that's in Mamalicious. It was shown in mouse studies to actually reverse the toxic effects of BPA, which is a chemical that used to be in the plastic water bottles, even baby bottles of all things. Can you imagine? Mm-hmm. And it has very, very adverse effects. In fact, it's so adverse that they were pulled off the market. But there are residual effects of some of these. But other toxins are out there equally, as we all know. So the genistein has had a link in that particular science, too. That's another one of our ingredients.
Really fantastic. Yeah, everything that's in there, you know, even we decided to use stevia instead of sucralose. Our manufacturer said, why don't we use sucralose? And I said, how about we use stevia instead? You know, stevia is a natural product. It comes from a plant. Let's just use the whole stevia. I just want to keep our moms safe. We know stevia has been safe. It's been used in Japan for 1,000 years. And it's used to be considered a nutritional supplement. It's a sweet leaf is what it's called. So it's a way to sweeten it without adding any other chemicals, artificial sweeteners, which are really dense. They're really sweet. But I just don't think our babies need them right now. You know, I think that as pure as we can be, you know, no artificial colors, of course. No preservatives, of course. You know, we've basically taken all of these different elements, the things that we know are going to feed the epigenetics, make mommy have energy, elevate mommy's mood, make sure she feels good, you know, keep her as asymptomatic as possible, make sure there's adequate vitamin D.
Make sure there's adequate breast milk, too. That's the other thing.
I love inositol. It's so very interesting. I got to study inositol. And what's really interesting is breast milk. Inositol is the third ingredient in breast milk. So you've got glucose, you've got lactose, and then you have inositol, which is so very interesting because back in the 60s when they discovered inositol, I've been reading studies from the 60s, and they used to call it the milk vitamin, which is so interesting because apparently when you take it out of a mouse's diet, she doesn't make milk for her babies. So it has been within my belief that this vitamin, inositol, which is a B vitamin, is super important for lactating moms. But it's now that we're really learning about phosphatidyl inositol and phosphatidylcholine, we're seeing that these are acting on the epigenome themselves too. And it's so phenomenal to see where the science is going with these things. The choline studies are unbelievable. Okay, so they did a study on moms, and they gave half of the group of moms extra choline in her diet, and the other half, they didn't give her extra choline. Then they tested her babies, human babies, at the age of 2. Every single choline baby had a higher IQ than the non-choline babies. Does this make you want to take choline during your pregnancy? sure made me want to take it, and I did. I took it in my second pregnancy because I was aware of this study, and I would take a big old scoop of lecithin every single day in my protein powder. And that's really when I was developing Mamalicious, it was like, let's make sure we're going to have choline. Let's make sure we're going to have inositol. Let's just go ahead and add a little extra lecithin to this stuff. Because it seems like every time we find a new compound, it seems to be lecithin is kind of a superfood.
It kind of is.
And it tastes so good, too. And it makes everything fluffier and tastier. And I think it's the one thing that makes Mamalicious so super fantastic tasting, you know? So I think we've got some great ingredients in there.
True. And that's just a few of them.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even get into the enzymes.
No.
We have 4 different kinds of digestive enzymes because when you're pregnant, you can get a lot of digestive issues. And I also wanted to make sure that your body would break down this organic rice protein thoroughly, you know? Why waste it? So we added the bromelain and betaine. And I forget, there's two other enzymes that we added into our Mamalicious. So for a combination of 4 enzymes to help us digest that protein. The probiotics to also help us digest that protein. And all of the vitamins that are in it. Because I figure if you're going to take vitamins, you might as well absorb them. You know, so many synthetic vitamins that you take nowadays, you can take a whole lot of them, but your body is not going to absorb them. That's just going to go right through your system because we're trying to take too much synthetic without the right combination. You can't if you take calcium without magnesium and zinc, you're not going to get the absorption. So we made sure that we had the right combination of calcium, magnesium, and zinc to get the right absorption. There's like 1,000 milligrams of calcium in Mamalicious. It's awesome. And 500 milligrams of magnesium, which is going to keep you calm and feeling good and sleeping good. I just get so excited about this stuff.
It's an amazing product.
It's just so much fun to know that all of my crazy bottles that my husband has teased me about through my pregnancy, I don't need those bottles anymore. I can just take my Mamalicious now, and I can know that I'm covered. My bases are covered. Yeah. And that is so cool.
It saves a ton of money, too.
Tell me about it. Yeah. That's how I use my allowance.
And it's easy, and it's convenient, and it's delicious, and it's fast, and it's there, and you don't have to think about it.
Especially when you got a toddler
and
pulling on you. You know, it's something you can make with one hand. Which is sometimes all you have, really, you know?
It's good.
Yeah. So try Mamalicious. It's yummy. It's full of superfoods. And we put a whole lot of love into it, too.